So we're standing outside of the Arch Street Methodist Church at the corner of Broad and Arch Street in Philadelphia during the DNC. And tell me your name?
Samantha Goldman.
And you're with the World Can't Wait.
I'm on the steering committee of the World Can't Wait.
And why are you here in Philly for the DNC?
I'm here to bring the message, no more endless wars. Neither candidate is going to stop these wars. It's up to us.
And how are you planning on getting that message to the people?
So we're part of this anti-war truth display that is highlighting the drones as the U.S. foreign policy for the past 7.5 years under a Democratic administration, killing civilians with impunity and bringing a face, we have photographs and mass displays of the victims of these drone strikes, trying to bring alive what it is that this government does in our names.
So America isn't over there, the U.S. military is not over there protecting and keeping America safe from terrorism?
Oh, no, thank you.
No. And in fact, if this is the price of safety, we don't want it.
Thank you very much.
So my name is Rafael Cadares.
And you're with what
with
group?
The Revolution Club.
And why are you here in Philly for the DNC?
We're here in Philly because we're bringing the message from the Revolutionary Communist Party that we're organizing now to overthrow this system at the soonest possible time. We don't need to accept these choices that this system dictates. These are criminal choices. On the one hand, a fascist, racist, misogynist pig like Donald Trump, which itself shows you the whole system is illegitimate. A system that would elevate someone like Trump to be a serious contender for the president is an illegitimate system. And on the other hand, here in Philly, it's Hillary Clinton, the warmonger. We're right here in front of the church where World Can't Wait to set up these drones, which is a perfect symbol for Hillary Clinton, a proven war criminal. Donald Trump is threatening to waterboard, to bomb ISIS, all the rest of this, but Hillary Clinton is a proven war criminal with a track record, someone who said, threatened to obliterate Iran, someone that when the U.S. illegally invaded and, took out the Gaddafi regime, arrogantly went up there on TV and said, we came, we saw, we conquered, invoking Alexander the Great. This is a proven war criminal responsible for the death, her and Bill Clinton, responsible for the death of 500,000 Iraqi children because of the sanctions that they put on the country of Iraq. And the Democratic Party as a whole is a rotten imperialist party. Go back to FDR, the holy saint of liberal democratic politics, someone who was the one who actually interned the Japanese, someone who set up the banana republics in Latin America, brutal regimes that terrorized the people in Central America for decades.
You guys are worshiping Lucifer. You guys are the prophet of destruction. God demands all going to repent. The spirit of the to God. There is no other name of power under heaven given unto men by which we must be saved. Really hear his voice, don't hold your hearts. As in rebellion, there was only one God, one meaning that we got an answer. Jesus came into the world. His son is people from their sin. Anything that contradicts the word of God is falseness. God's what's incredible. And there's two gifts you're either in Adam or Christ. In Christ.
B.A. Revolutionary. 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 I'm making.
And what do you think about WikiLeaks just released that they had it rigged against Bernie Sanders?
Look, the ruling. This is bourgeois democracy. This is democracy on the terms of the capitalist system and its ruling class. Yes, they've been rigging the elections. They have the media. They decide who's a legitimate candidate, what's a legitimate issue, and people that they don't want in that position, they delegitimize. Okay, but the problem is not just that the system is rigged. The problem is the system itself.
And what are the Bernie peacekeepers?
Well, we just, when me and my friend Jeff and others came, we had signed up to be peacekeepers before we came, knowing that there was going to be some kind of basic training, which we just completed inside the church here. And it's basically our assignment is simply to try to help people out. We're not the police. We're not trying to do anything to tell people what to do. We're just trying to keep things peaceful and yet get the message out. So we're just going to be going out in groups of 2 and joining whichever rally or march we decide to join. There's no real assignments yet.
What do you think about WikiLeaks releasing the fact that the election was rigged against Bernie Sanders?
Well, most all of us that were activists and organizers knew that from the very get-go, and with the super delegates, and then the voter suppression, cleaning of the voter rolls in New York, and all kinds of stuff, Nevada, all kinds of signals along the way that, of course, it's rigged by the DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, etc. So at least WikiLeaks got that out just in the nick of time, so we can at least have some concession there with Debbie stepping down, although she'll be appointed as Hillary's campaign manager as soon as the convention is over.
What is your name?
So she's got a good job. My name's Chris. I'm from Olympia, Washington. I was a delegate for Bernie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Left, right, left. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Slavery, genocide, and war.
5, 6, 7, 8.
America was never great.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Slavery, genocide, and war.
5, 6, 7, 8.
America was never great.
What brings you to the DNC gathering here in Philly?
Saving our democracy. We don't have a democracy, I must say. We've never had a democracy. We've always had a republic. The Constitution, the contradictions in the Constitution are embedded in our law and our legal system and in our structure of our government. And we are finally seeing those chickens come home to roost. Everything is falling apart. Our judicial system is falling apart. Internationally, we're falling apart. We're falling apart in terms of our environment, our education, our healthcare. So everybody knows that everything is fracturing. Then the question is, who is responsible? Now, it's a very easy thing to say that the people at the top are responsible, and of course they are, and they should be held to account. But you know, we are all on this train, so we're all participants in the system and the beneficiaries of a system which is basically inequitable and repressive and will destroy the planet. So we have to look to each one of us. Each one of us has to make a contribution, and each one of us has to make a sacrifice. So I'm here to sort of garner from the people that I see and the activities and the protests and the articulation of the positions. If people are willing to address, for instance, I am strongly involved in the environmental movement, and I am also a vegan. And I say to people in the environmental movement, so have you heard about animal agriculture? Yeah. Well, are you a vegan? No. Why should I be? Because animal agriculture at an industrial level adds an incredible amount, larger than transportation, to greenhouse gases. If you want to be responsible, and it's not just, okay, save the planet, don't eat meat. It's what gives, do human beings have to reconsider our primacy in the structure, in the various levels, because we can't assume that we are, because we're at the top of the food chain, which we're not. That's why sharks are being destroyed everywhere, because they threaten us. But we have to realize we have a responsibility to all sentient beings. And that whatever creator, I think it's a big black woman, but created us, gave us the ability to make distinctions and to make choices. And the choice has to be that we will sacrifice and we will engage and we will support every aspect of life on this planet.
So right, we can't be against for-profit prisons for humans, but then do it to animals.
Exactly. Look at the contradictions that exist and examine your thinking so that those kinds of paradoxes don't frustrate us and drive us to anger or drive us to misinterpreting what's so. That we can say to ourselves, well, how can I care about my dog and not care about a man convicted of supposedly of a crime who is executed, and then they find out he's not guilty. He was found guilty because he was not defended properly. So you have to look at all of it and say we have to change. It's the shift is not just in getting Bernie Sanders elected president. The shift is in changing the way we relate to each other, the way we relate to this environment, what we let our machines, allow our machines to do for us as opposed to us. And that's why I'm here.
If I could, I just wanted to add, because of pollution and the pollution of the earth, so we've created a pollution of the vulnerable, like the scapegoat and blame the most vulnerable.
Right.
And I'm always trying to teach people to be more in touch with the way that nature works, which is actually to challenge the people at the top. But most people, because it's too difficult to challenge the people at the top, so they do what's easy, which is why the most vulnerable are always the ones in poverty, being abused, being housed and warehoused in prisons, being bombed. It's like a lot of people join in the people at the top in abusing and marginalizing and imprisoning the most vulnerable.
Right.
And to turn that, we have to turn that trend around.
My industry is absolutely culpable because instead of empowering people and getting and creating narratives that show communities how another community is suffering as a consequence of the benefits that they take for granted, and that they should learn to talk and listen and involve themselves with indigenous people, with people of color, with poor people.
Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself.
The rejection of the confusion and anger that the people who support Donald Trump are feeling. They can't articulate it and they can't actually define it, but they feel it, they live it, and we who have a solution, or at least we are involved in the process to create a solution, have to talk to them like human beings. What is it that you want for your children? If we have to all be in this together. We can't leave anybody out.
Absolutely.
So we can't leave.
That's the way nature works.
Correct. It's inclusive. All embracing.
That's right.
All embracing.
Thank you so much, sir. And why do you support Hillary Clinton?
Because I think she is, without question, the most qualified candidate running.
And are you in support of the ongoing wars, though?
Of the ongoing wars? Well, we are at war, so I'm in support of defending our country.
Against?
Enemies.
And who may they be?
Any enemies against our country.
Thank you. What state do you come from?
Pennsylvania.
And you're a Hillary supporter?
I am.
And do you mind sharing why you support Hillary Clinton?
Well, I think she's the most qualified. I think her service as Secretary of State certainly qualifies her. I think being in the Obama administration, and I mean all this nonsense about her integrity. I mean, she's a politician.
Her what? Sorry.
Her integrity is not a problem. I mean, she's doing what politicians do. I mean, every politician plays by those rules, and to pick her and hire and single her out is just unfair.
What about the recent leaks of her emails and rigging the elections against Bernie Sanders?
Well, they're not her emails. That was the DNC committee emails, and you'll have to address that with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, not with Hillary Clinton.
Do you agree with the never-ending wars that have been going on for 16 years?
I don't support the wars, but George W. Bush got us into those wars. Obama's trying to get us out of those wars. Obama has.
You think so?
I really do. I really do.
I mean, there are actually more troops there since Obama.
Well, I think that might be a misstatement. I know that he's withdrawn troops. He's trying to have, I think, another 800 or 900 troops in Afghanistan. But the troops on the ground have certainly diminished. It's more drone warfare more than people.
What do you think of the drone strikes?
Drone strikes don't bother me.
Killing innocent people?
Innocent people aren't... there's innocent people being killed all over. And if Afghanistan and Iran really did want the freedoms, then I do believe that sometimes there's sacrifices to pay.
My name is Ivan Del Sol.
And why are you holding Bernie?
Sorry, I can't hear you over the marchers.
Why are you supporting Bernie Sanders?
Because Bernie Sanders is the best hope for American politics that's come around in my lifetime.
What do you think that they rigged the election against him and he advocated for Hillary?
Because he works against a lot of the things that the corporate sponsors of the Democratic Party, they don't want his policies in place. And that's the only reason. The people clearly supported him. He is clearly a good choice to bring so many new people into the Democratic Party. Instead, they've chosen to alienate all those people. And it's probably the beginning of the end for the Democratic Party. We're going to need an actual progressive party in this country.
Of Donald Trump, of that racism, the misogyny, the xenophobia, the U.S. centrism, the politics of fear and exclusion. We are here today at the DNC because we are also calling out the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton-like politics. Because we know what the neoliberal agenda is. We know that it's business as usual, and we know her role. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has her blood on her hands. She has blood on her hands from Haiti to Syria to Honduras. And we want to make sure that she stops her hawkish ways. Her feminism is not my feminism. Her rights, we don't want another Margaret Thatcher. We don't want another neoliberal woman just because she's a woman that she gets to say that that's women's rights. So we're clear that women's rights is about justice for Berta Cáceres, a true feminist, a true social movement leader that was murdered in her home on March 2nd. She was murdered in her home for protecting indigenous lands, for protecting the river, fighting against transnational corporations. And she was murdered because they wanted to silence her. And that's why we're here with the message that Berta didn't die, she multiplied. We have here with us her daughter, Laura Zuniga Cáceres, who didn't even get 24 hours to mourn her mother. She and the rest of the family and the Copin organization have been fighting for justice for Berta Cáceres and all the other organizers and leaders that have been risking their lives have been killed. Even last week, a compañera from the COPIN was murdered. And so we are here to call out Hillary Clinton and her role, her admitted role in the enduring coup of unseating a democratically elected president, Manuel Zelaya, and we're here to say justice for Berta. Justice for Berta Cáceres. And we are asking all of you to support the bill. There is a Congress bill, the Berta Cáceres Human Rights in Honduras bill that is being sponsored by different Congress people, and we're asking you to put pressure on Congress to make sure that this country stops military aid to Honduras. We gotta stop the military aid to Honduras and everywhere else, but particularly now Honduras, until there's an independent investigation that includes the family and includes COPIN. So please join us in justice for Berta Cáceres. We want to make sure that that Hillary Clinton is held accountable, that she stopped her hawkish ways, and that ultimately the true face of feminism, the true face of struggle is right here, that you see in the streets. That is what it is, and we are reclaiming that feminism that is really about supporting independent women's self-determination and not war and not corporate rule and not the policies of...
My name's Dave Goldberg.
And you're holding a sign that says, vote your conscience, vote for Jill Stein.
Yes.
Why do you like Jill Stein?
I think she's for working class people. She's against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I think she's for justice. Yeah, she's against these wars we spend all our money on. While there are kids in poverty all over this country, as well as all over the world. She addresses these issues of just basic finance